Hello, brothers and sisters. Raven here. Going to continue on through more of building Christian character. As I continue through, I see more and more of Adam sort of repeating himself, but also contradicting himself. A lot of the next 20 pages after what I've quoted last, that's what he does. He keeps contradicting, going back and forth to make himself sound like he's teaching the truth, then all of a sudden flipping it. But very gradually and slowly, he has a weird way of, at one point, taking the word perfect. This is something that actually, ironically enough, studied recently in one of the Bible studies I'm part of. And what's brought up about this word is that it doesn't really mean what we think of when we think of perfect. It just means complete, full, finished. What he does is he sort of starts off with that, but then gradually keeps talking about it until it starts to sound more like what we originally would think of perfect. He's got a weird way of going about trying to sort of make it sound like it's both. And that's what he does throughout a lot of it. And it's nothing but contradictions. It seems like a waste of time because as long as you're reading it carefully and really trying to see what it says, you'll realize this isn't right. Something's wrong. Even if you don't see the details, you'll know something just isn't quite what it should be. But today I want to talk about a part that isn't necessarily wrong, because if you ask me, his teaching here is really good. I mean, he is nailing it. The problem is a little bit of the way he says it and a few things in it. He's very sly how he does this. And it's something that I feel I need to share because I know a lot of people will see this and it's, for lack of a better term, reverse psychology. He goes into hypocrisy. Problem is, too many people, as soon as they see him talking about hypocrisy and rebuking it, he must not be a hypocrite. You got to read this carefully. So, the quote I want to read is page 112. It says this. Again, dishonesty is the most iniquitous form of dishonoring. Dishonesty transmutes all that we should be doing from a heart of service into a means of manipulation, an act of hypocrisy. Hypocrite means mask wearer, actor. A hypocrite puts on a false facade, tries to appear to be something other than what he really is inside. He cares only about appearances. Remember that. Substance means nothing to him. Although as a hypocrite, he may well pretend to care only about substance and nothing about appearances. True relationship only comes through finding real connections, real points of contact, points at which lives touch, intertwine, and merge. The hypocrite severs all these true connections. Again, dishonesty, as in our initial discussion of honesty, severs relationship with both man and God. Dishonesty prevents conformity to the image of God, since such flawed character can never be infused with the Spirit of Christ, who never lied. Rather than reflecting God's light and truth, our character collapses into the pit of self-centeredness and carnality. The part I pointed out there, if you didn't notice, he says the concern is about appearances of a hypocrite. Well, isn't that what all their rules are about? Appearances? As I've shown, a lot of their rules about following nature, going the natural route, completely hypocrisy. They don't really follow that. They go and they get their food and their supplies all over the place, not just themselves. So, right there, you can see him more concerned of appearances. Same with what they wear. That's their focus. Things like that. So that right there should be a red flag immediately. But the part I want to point out is right in the center I'm going to read this part again. And this time, pay attention. Think about it. What does this mean should happen when you see a hypocrite? It says this. True relationship only comes through finding real connections, real points of contact, points at which lives touch, intertwine, and merge. The hypocrite severs all these true connections. Again, dishonesty, as in our initial discussion of honesty, severs relationship with both man and God. Do you notice the problem? There's a bit of a paradox here. He talks about how it severs all these true connections. There's a problem there. That's not what it's going to be. It's not what it's going to look like. And it's not going to sever all true connections. They're the ones with the facade, not the people they're trying to convince. They want to have a real connection with them in that they really are seeing these people. They really know these people. They have a connection with them. But they do not have a connection with the hypocrite. It's a one-way relationship. You realize what he's doing there? He's seeking that connection with you. But he's making you think that there's no way that could happen if it was hypocrisy. You know what it says? Again, dishonesty, as in our initial discussion of honesty, severs relationship with both man and God. So then, if that's the case, and hypocrisy is dishonest, then hypocrites shouldn't be able to have relationships. But they do. False relationships. But they still have them. It does not sever it. It severs it from God, but not both man and God. This part isn't about really helping you understand what a hypocrite is. It's showing you some truth, but then adding a little lie. Little indirect dishonesty. To make it so you never would suspect they're the hypocrite. That's what this is. But something else I want to read here. This, I'm not going to try to say I know for sure this is what's going on here. That I really know for certain this is why it happened the way it did. But there's an interesting thing about the way he finishes this. Something there that I think is an accidental revealing of the truth. It says, rather than reflecting God's light and truth, our character collapses into the pit of self-centeredness and carnality. Notice, our character collapses. This whole time, he's been talking about the hypocrites in the third person as somebody else. Here, it's not what he does. All of a sudden, our character. I think that here, accidentally, he kind of revealed what was going on. Maybe not, but that doesn't change the fact that right there in the middle, he completely hides his own hypocrisy by giving you the impression it should be obvious, so that it's easier for him to hide it. This is why we always have to compare everybody's teachings to Scripture. We need to really look at it and make sure it's following along. And even if it's the truth, even Jesus said some teachers Follow their teaching, but not their example. You got to remember, it's always about following him. Otherwise, you're making yourself far more vulnerable to the hypocrites. God bless.